In this video, you will see material that may be considered inappropriate or sensitive for you, therefore discretion is advised. That said, let's begin. We start with a group of boys in a restaurant discussing how to bully someone. They say they will beat him up, strip him of his clothes, and make him run naked in the middle of a show. The girl accompanying them does not agree with this, but we already know that the boys are stubborn. They want to do it no matter what. A curious fact is that they have been bullying that person for years, and it has already become a habit. One of the boys goes to this old man, and the old man will go with the boys to bully. We are with a boy named Jacob, who is quite shy. He leaves his house on a bike to go to work. Now we are at a fair called Dr. Death, where the group of boys is located. We return to Jacob, and after a while, he arrives at the circus, where he meets a man named Dr. Death, who will put on a show at the fair, and apparently, Jacob is his assistant. 2001, the show begins. We return to Jacob. As he exits the preparation booth, he encounters the old man we saw earlier, who asks Jacob where he can find some action. Now the group of bullies appears, and the boys start insulting Jacob. One of them turns his back and Jacob pushes him. The others grab him, throw him to the ground, and begin to beat him. The one who was pushed gets up and gives Jacob another beating, then brutally kicks him in the head. 2001 from the show found Jacob dying on the floor. The group that beat up Jacob is arguing at home. The ironic part is that the group claims their intention was not to hurt him, but come on, they have been bullying him for years. The girl never agreed with that, so she goes home. But even though she disagreed, she just stood by and watched while the group gave Jacob a beating. Dr. Death is taking care of Jacob, while the poor young man is badly injured, almost dead. 1000, the doctor takes out a box. From this box, he pulls out a cloth with a mask inside. The doctor puts on the mask, then turns off the lights, lights a candle, and grabs a book. While holding the mask in front of him, he begins to recite some words, meaning he is performing a ritual. The mask was placed on Jacob, as it seems the poor guy died due to the beating he received. The doctor begins the ritual, and after performing it for a while, he steps back disappointed because he believes the ritual did not work. While he is feeling sad, he hears something moving, and we see his surprised face, but we do not know what he saw. Now we are with an officer. While he talks on his radio, he sees Jacob but covered in blood. He approaches, but Jacob has already disappeared. The officer returns to his car and leaves the scene. He arrives at his office where he meets the girl who was with the group that attacked Jacob. Her name is Carol. She tells the officer everything that happened, saying that her friends bothered Jacob every year. She also tells him that that night everything got out of control, and they probably killed him. The officer says he doesn't believe her, as he hasn't received any report of an injured person. Now the officer, just in case, arrives at the fair and meets Dr. Death. He tells him not to worry because Jacob is already fine. The officer leaves without further ado, not caring that he was told Jacob had received a tremendous beating that almost killed him. But he still has doubts since the doctor told him that Jacob was at home. The officer arrives at Jacob's house. He says he just wants to hear his version of what happened. 1000, but after knocking and knocking, he leaves the place because no one opened the door for him. As he is leaving, we see that someone is watching him. We are with the old man when he comes out of the bathroom and finds a pumpkin and candies inside. While they eat the candies, we see Jacob in the background. Jacob approaches him, chokes him, and lifts him up, then stabs him. All of this until he is left stiff, while he bleeds from the mouth. We are with Carol and her boyfriend as they engage in mutual fondling when a boy arrives to tell them that something bad has happened. We are with the officer. They found the old man's corpse, and they even took the poor man's teeth. Harold and his boyfriend are with the officers. The poor are scared about what happened to the old man. The group of boys is gathered, and the bully of the group arrives. They tell him everything that happened to the old man, but he acts as if he doesn't care. One thing I didn't mention before is that the bully is the son of the town sheriff, which is why he acts as if he is the authority. Everyone leaves the place, but one stays behind. He is the shyest of them all. He hears something outside, and when he looks out, he sees the same pumpkin we saw before. He thinks it is a joke from his friends. As he approaches, Jacob appears and slams him against the wall, strangling him. He continues until he makes him bleed, and then, in a brutal manner, he pulls out his spinal cord. The officers arrive to ask him if he knows what happened to the old man. Dr. Death doesn't let them speak and interrupts them. When they manage to take him to a place to talk, the officer asks about Jacob. The doctor responds that he is at his house, but let's remember that the officer has already been to Jacob's house. The doctor is just making the officer waste his time. Another officer arrives and tells the sheriff that there has been another murder. The officers arrive at the murder scene, where they find the shy boy very stiff. The shy boy was named Bobby. If you're at this part of the video, I would appreciate it if you could give a like and also comment something so that YouTube recommends the video. And if you are new, I invite you to subscribe, activating the notification bell. Now, let's continue. The officer is finally taking things seriously. He even asks that no one goes out at night, and anyone who does will be arrested. The sheriff arrives with his son, who is named May, but I will continue to call him the brat. His father asks him to tell him everything that was done to Jacob, but the boy acts arrogantly. Then his father tells him not to even think about leaving the house and to keep everything locked, the doors, windows, and everything. The officers arrive at Jacob's house, call out to him, but when they see that no one responds, they decide to break down the door. They then proceed to enter and spend a good amount of time searching the house. When they are upstairs, they smell a strong odor, and upon reaching the room, the smell is even stronger. One of the officers says it comes from under the bed. They pull something out from there and uncover it. It is a corpse filled with worms. A super curious fact is that Jacob's mother disappeared a long time ago and was never found. Things got shady, brother. We are with Carol and her boyfriend, who by the way is named Steve. While they were kissing and touching, Carol tells her boyfriend that she'll be right back. We return to the fair, where the people want to know the truth and gather with the doctor. One of his assistants tells him to tell them the whole truth in order to die with dignity, to which the doctor replies that he will never die. Carol returns in her underwear to surprise Steve, but when she arrives, she doesn't see him anywhere. We return to the doctor and the group. He also says that outside there is misfortune and cruel people. He states that he is proud of what he did and emphasizes that he already knows how this will end, just like the other times, meaning they have done this before. I believe he is referring to bringing one of them back from the dead. The people from the fair know that the townsfolk want to know what is happening. They are searching for them as if it were a witch hunt. Carol sees her boyfriend approaching. She appears to be smiling, but then she realizes that her boyfriend is covered in blood. He falls to the ground and Carol rushes to him, starting to cry while asking for help. While Carol is crying for him, in the background we see Jacob approaching. Carol sees him and quickly leaves while Jacob chases her. He manages to catch her, pulls her hair, and starts pulling her tongue. Then he rips it out. The officers were patrolling and came across Steve's car. Let's remember that there is a curfew. No one is allowed to leave their house when it is dark. For this reason, the officers decide to enter and look for him. While searching, one of them steps on Carol's tongue, and then they find the bodies of the two together. The sheriff calls his son, who tells him that he found his friend dead. Finally, the bully becomes sentimental, and the tough guy gets angry and decides to go to the fair to seek revenge. We see that the doctor is with Jacob, who is weak. The doctor says that they need fresh blood. We return to the officer, who goes to his house to check if his son is okay. There, he encounters Dr. Death, and from behind, he receives a severe blow. The bully is still at the fair. From a distance, he sees a patrol arrive and becomes happy because he thinks it is his father. When he is near the patrol, he sees his father's head at the front of the car. Now Jacob has awakened. He punches the bully a few times, then tears off his arms, and now he proceeds to pull out his teeth one by one. Sometime later, we are at the fair, and the doctor gives a girl a necklace made with real teeth. Finally, we see Jacob eating some sweets. And that's how this ends, guys. Remember that I have my Discord server. You can join and recommend movies there that you want me to summarize. I'm also quite active there and always respond to all messages. The link is in the description. Give it a like, subscribe by activating the bell, and don't forget to brush your teeth before sleeping. Also, don't forget to share the video.